Hi there. It's Friday, the 7th of March. Always lose track of time. Yep. Friday, 7th of March. Played two games today. Not such great games. Uh, it happens. Let's have a look. So, first game played. Well, actually, both games I played is white. Uh, this game I played with a 70.1% accuracy and my opponent 78.4. Uh, so not great. So brought out the D pawn, going for Jibaba London if my opponent lets me. Um, yeah, so it's still possible to go for Jibaba as long as they bring this pawn out. Apparently, I don't know the theory behind it, but he's closed his bishop in. This gives me some information about how to go about things, but most importantly, it's just trying to play solid and look out for tactics. Uh, yeah, not really too concerned about this pawn. Well, actually, saying that, I didn't want to didn't want him to bring out his pawn here and have my bishop locked in for probably a great part of the game. So I opted for taking. Um, I learned somewhere mistaking is mistaking. To take is a mistake, but I thought like if he pushes, yeah, my bishop is just stuck. Can only go here. Has no scope whatsoever and probably no play for a long time. So I opted to take it, which Stockfish finds okay. It's not the best move, but not the worst, apparently. Uh, yeah, I did consider going here. So obviously you're eyeing this square for a fork, and then the only way I think to, with the pawn being, bear with me, with this pawn being here, because sometimes, like if you bring out your knight here for the fork, well, let me just get rid of all the, yeah, if you bring out your knight here for this fork, sometimes the opponent can give a check and go back to, check, and then go back to the, yeah, go back with the bishop for this square to defend this square. And then your attack is just futile. But this is obviously not possible because the pawn is here. So yeah, I probably should have done that. And then this knight has to go here. And in that case, your knight is here and mm, yeah. Yeah, you probably need to bring your bishop out to push it away or something, I don't know. But anyway, I didn't do this. Took the pawn just to get rid of all shenanigans. Prevented him from coming in to this square, pinning the knight because this knight is ready to put pressure on the pin piece. Sure, I could have brought my bishop out to take this knight away, but I thought like, oh, better be safe than sorry. Okay, the computer's really slow. Anyway, we're both just developing, and to be honest, this is an even game until I blunder. Uh, Not the best moves of both of us. My opponent is a little slightly up. Oh yeah, what I did see here is that because he took it, he brought his rook out. He might have been looking to push this pawn, which then would have been defended twice, but also attacked. Uh, yeah. Oh, this whatever. There would be two attackers slash defenders and two attackers slash defenders. So then I would have had to retreat, and then I'd be stepping into a fork. So I thought, okay, let's get one of the possibly fork pieces out. and offer a trade, which he didn't. And then I did see like, okay, well, I can create an isolated pawn. Because obviously he can't recapture my bishop because his queen is under attack, so he needs to capture with the pawn, which is not a big deal, but at least he's got an isolated pawn. And then, yeah, I did think, should I capture it, but I thought there might be some tactics because obviously the queen needs to recapture, and now this queen is undefended. So I thought, like with the queen and the bishop lining up with his queen or her queen, this could potentially have some tactics. Because if this pawn would be magically disappear, I could give a check here and capture the queen for free with my queen. So with that in the back of my mind, I just started developing, and I thought like because I didn't see straight away that if I would bring this pawn here, he could recapture, I'd recapture, he'd recapture, I'd recapture, and then it wouldn't be as strong. He could just recapture and I recapture, capture, recapture, and it'd just be an equal trade. So I thought like if I reroute my knight here and use this pawn also to get rid of this pawn, maybe we're into some nice tactics, and so that's what I did. But my opponent was on to me. So he brought his bishop out. So if I would take this pawn, he could first take this, and obviously I'd have to recapture first because otherwise I'd be losing another piece. And yeah, so I tried to find these tactics, but then he stepped out of any hassle. So I think it's pretty good, and now this pawn is obviously attacked. So I thought, and obviously this pawn is under some threat also. It's attacked twice and only defended once. Bishops don't move that way. So I thought like just protect this pawn, and Stockfish didn't really like it. Yeah, I could have defended this with the queen also. Then he brought out the rook, and I brought out the rook to defend this pawn. So he steps back. I didn't want to have any hassle with any pins, so I just moved my queen. And also bring another defender to this pawn. So he captures, I recapture, he captures, I recapture, and we're all equal still. Didn't quite know what this knight was going to do. And I just wanted to, obviously, I thought he might go here and tempoing me. And didn't really want to go here, obviously, because I'd be taken, or here because I'd be undefended. Prone to some kind of tactics. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to do. This was looking like a draw-ish game, which it eventually didn't turn out to be. But so now he's got one attacker, and maybe he's going here with another attacker. So just to be sure, and also defend this pawn if ever needed be. Yeah, and then I thought I saw a nice little tactic. No, not straight away, but my knight is not doing anything in here, and I thought like bring it over here, here, and support it with the pawn, and have a nice outpost where it could maybe, well, at least be threatening somehow, positionally, specifically, like positional, which eventually turns into my downfall. Not specifically with the knight, but and now obviously he's X-raying my queen again. So I didn't really like that, but I wanted to go here anyway. So he's pushing the pawns, and I was fine with him pushing and just taking, retaking, no problem. Yeah, so I brought the knight out, trying to get to this square where nothing can get rid of it. So that's where I went, and yeah, just grabbing the pawns. It's all equal here. As a matter of fact, it's I'm actually 1.4 points ahead, slightly ahead. Maybe because I'm a bit more active. Equality is equal. I think maybe with my knight being here, having a bit of a more active square than his knight, I'm slightly up in the points. And this is where I fumbled. And I did actually consider that he might be moving down with his rook here, but then I thought I can just step away, no worries. But what I failed to notice that if he gets there, uh, he's got like a major threat, because then it'd be like if the rook gets here, so check, check, or actually check, checkmate. Yeah, so I failed to notice that, and I pushed the pawn just to secure this knight, and then he brought in his rook. Basically, the only thing I can do is sacrifice my queen, because if not, as I said before, he takes with a check. Only place to go is here, and then he checkmates me. And I'm not sure when in chess.com some settings were changed, because you see the dots, the hollow dots in the middle of the square, and I didn't used to have them. I used to have them on my mobile phone, but I started playing chess on my mobile phone, but eventually I went to playing on my computer. But then these dots weren't here until I noticed them with someone else and didn't quite know what they meant. But you might be aware, or maybe not. And if so, if not, then this can be useful information, because you can move your piece in two different ways. You click it and drag it, or you can click it and then select a square to go to, like here, for example. This is not what happened, but yeah. So I was obviously worried, and I also already pressed my queen, and I don't even know why I wanted to press this square. Um, it's good to mention, if you're watching this, I've been filming my games afterwards through analysis, and this was the first time I recorded playing. Well, I recorded whilst I was playing, but the recording failed. There were some problems with the settings apparently, because the sound was recorded but no images were recorded. But recording a video whilst you're playing is something else, because you need to divide your attention through different things, and to create these squares you click right button on your mouse. Also with these kind of movements, you right click rather than left click. And I think I don't know, I'm not blaming obviously techniques, it's just my own fault. But I pressed the screen, and it doesn't really matter, but I pressed this button here, and this actually is making 1, 2 actually, but he didn't see it. So he took, this is just like check, checkmate. But he didn't see that. Uh, yeah. Oh, hang on. This is not what happens. He took my rook with the check, so I can just prolongs the agony. But I did see that okay, down a queen for a rook, but I did see there's a square here which forks um, the rook. So I thought like, okay, if I end this, obviously it's attacked by the queen, but defended by the rook. So I thought like, oh, maybe if I'm a bit, but this is hope chess. If I'm lucky, I might be able to get in the fork. But yeah, my opponent was just playing well. He did see it, gave me no counterplay, and I thought maybe I can double up the rooks, give a check and win the knight. But obviously now he's bringing on a greater threat again, like a checkmate threat. If I don't deal with this, it's checkmate in 2. So I need to defend this pawn. So I can't actually do. Okay, so he actually wanted me to go here. Yeah, it's more like an active defense. Okay, and now I brought it back. I should have brought it here. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Just being a little bit too passive, I suppose. Getting rid of the queen, at least for one square. And to be honest, I really didn't know what to do. And that was just a pawn hanging. I thought like at least block the rook from any and all activity. And he brought it back. And I thought like this could maybe get me a pawn. But then I saw like, oh, this is so, blunders never happen. What did it say? Blunder always happens in pairs or something. Because I just left my knight hanging. And which he did see. So, and I couldn't even take this pawn. So it was just utterly hopeless. But the only hope I was having, he was down to a minute. And I had 5 minutes, so I thought maybe I can flag him. But there was nothing really I could do. I mean, I couldn't. I thought like maybe bring out the pawn here to get rid of the knight, but then he could just take this. Yeah, so there was nothing really I could do. I thought for a moment I can bring my king here, and then push this pawn, but obviously I can't because it's pinned. And yeah, then it's just 3 attackers on this pawn and only 2 defenders. So he gave a check, and then I thought like, well, hang on, I might be in some luck here because if I recapture, if he recaptures with the queen, no, it wouldn't have mattered. I thought I could have gotten something out of it. And then I thought like, okay, let's pin the knight. And he obviously couldn't do anything about it. But then I thought it's hopeless anyway. Even if I grab this and he takes it and I retake, I have 3 pawns against 5 pawns. It's not gonna happen. So I took, but he didn't actually retake. And I got out of the way. He checks. I got in between. He takes another pawn. Yeah, so I shouldn't have done that because now I haven't lost another pawn. Yeah, so what I should have done was just go here. Mind you, I'm like down 6 points, so it's just. But it was just, can I survive this minute? But I told myself, just don't play for flagging, as it's apparently called, because that's never gonna happen. Because in this 15-10 settings, you can make a few quick moves and gain some time. So yeah, what to do? Yeah, what to do? And this is just checkmate because I can't go anywhere. So I didn't even see this. So what I should have done is give my, rather than closing in my king, give it some breathing space and try to go for pawns and maybe create a pass pawn. That would have even given some headache to think about. But there you have it. It's a pretty terrible game. Let's go on to the next game. So here's the second game, and I played with 79%, just under the 79. My opponent 75. Let's have a look. Played with white again, as I said in the beginning. So trying to go for Jababa London once again. And bringing out the knight. Bringing out the bishop. Yeah, he's preventing any and all attacks on this, any and all potential forks here, which is good, I think. So just carrying on with the development. This is a pretty tough game. He put a lot of pressure on me. I think he played really well until he fumbled. Yeah, so the bishop needs to retreat. If he retreats here, as Stockfish recommends, you get in a pawn storm and then trade off the bishop when he gets back here. Yeah. And yeah, okay, so if you would have done that, I would have doubled this pawn. So I think this is probably the best thing to do. Because if he, say, for example, would have retreated here, I would have went here, and he would have need to go there, and then I would be doubling up his pawns. Yeah, so maybe what you did was wise. Who knows? Only Stockfish knows. He went there anyway. Let me get rid of these squares. So, and I've learned somewhere that if this bishop is not stuck behind this pawn, you normally try to castle queenside and get the knight here. I'm not sure about the theory behind it, but this is just a blunder-ish, a mistake, because this is a free pawn. But I made a mistake later on. I was also giving up this pawn, and he's attacking my bishop, which is the defender of this pawn. But my bishop is defended by my knight, but also by this pawn, and that's where I made a slight error, because obviously this is a free pawn also, and also it could defend here. He took, and I should have recaptured with the pawn, saving this pawn, and then I'd be up 2 pawns rather than no, I'm up 1 pawn, which could be just the difference in winning the game or losing the game. And I thought, like, okay, let's eye on this pawn, but he wouldn't have it. So I thought, like, let's bring it back. Stockfish want me to go there. Why? Okay, don't know. He's bringing out the bishop, which is easily defendable because obviously now I'm just tell him to bugger off again, which he does. But now he's eyeing at this pawn, which is undefended, so I need to either defend it or step out of the way, and Stockfish doesn't like this. Stockfish says to get here and block this pawn from being taken, and if he takes me, I can retake with the pawn and have 2 pawns in the center. Oh, that'd be a nice idea. Yeah, I'm not too much familiar with pawns in the center, etc., etc. This is a check, and obviously I cannot defend with the knight because then this knight will be hanging. So I need to defend with the pawn, and this is a part of the game where I'm really being put under pressure. Yeah, Stockfish recommends actually to already get out of the way because he's getting some play here because already this pawn is undefended because this one is gone and he can not just straight away step out of the line of fire with his queen, but take this pawn with a check first, which he does. And then I obviously cannot go here. I couldn't go here because of the bishop. So this is the only square I can go. So now I can't go here, can't go here. Actually, this is a safe square. There's only one safe square left for my king, which is obviously not what you would like. And then, what's that pawn now? Then this square is even taken away. And then I needed to have a long think because obviously I could just take this knight. But I did see if I take this knight, this is just checkmate. Like, this is just checkmate. So luckily I did see that. And I also saw I could just block it, which is what I did. And he can obviously not take because it's defended. Well, he can, but then he's obviously trying to checkmate me. And this is just beneficial for me if pieces are being traded off the board. So yeah, this was really not a spot where you want to be in. And obviously he needed to get out because now this the queen was attacked. And I did obviously see, like, if I step out of the way with my knight, I'm not only just putting another defender on this square, because obviously now if he steps away with his, he can go anywhere he wants. And yeah, anyway, I'm in a pin now, so I need to get rid of this pin. And I thought, like, if I bring my knight here, this one obviously because this one can't move, bring my knight here, I'm also attacking his knight. So that's the best move, I think. Yeah, best move. And he steps out. And I didn't actually see that I could take him, but then the queen could take my knight, and I couldn't use this as a defender because this is pinned, and then I'd be in another check. So I didn't actually see it, but even if I would have seen it, I couldn't have done it. But I was thinking, like, how can I get out of this mess? So I took my queen here, just put another defender here. So it's now defended, or actually it's attacked twice, but defended thrice, 3 times. This bishop isn't doing anything because he's looking at the wrong squares. And he castles. And now I thought, like, let's get out of the way. Because this one is attacked twice, but now it's defended twice, so I'm still good. And now he's being put into a position where he needs to make up his mind. Because now his knight is attacked. This knight is not pinned anymore. And this knight, so both of these pieces are attacked. So, but it's easily resolved by giving a check. I need to react to that. So I can take, and he can take, and I can take, and it's like an equal trade. But this is not exactly what happens. So I didn't play too well, and I was yeah. It's because my opponent fumbled that I actually did win this game. Well, win. I'll show you. I took, and then he checked me. Hang on 1 second. My battery is nearly run out. 1 second, guys. Yeah, so this needed some time to think what's going on, and I saw that I can capture. Uh, he recaptures, and I can recapture and have a defender for this knight. And I think maybe he forgot about the fact that my king would be defender for this knight at at the end of all the trades. I think maybe he thought like if I take, he takes, I take that he could take this knight, but take, and I have a defender for this knight, and he actually shouldn't have done this, but now I'm up a piece, and pawns are equal, I think. Yeah, so just up a full piece, and now it's just a matter of can I convert this into a win. He checked. Yes, he got a pawn, and then I offered a trade. This one is defended, and he can go here, but I would have just offered him a trade anyway. But somehow his internet wasn't that good, um, which could be internet, but it also could have been that he just turned off his computer or something, and I don't know. But yeah, so he had 2 minutes to sort his computer internet out, which he didn't, and time ran out. Well, not the full time, but you get like 2 minutes to sort your internet connection out. Uh, and he didn't. So it was a win. Not the way you want to win, obviously, but I think I probably would have been able to convert this. If he wouldn't have traded rooks, this would have been a free pawn. So he was kind of forced to trade. Say if he would have gone, he wouldn't have been able to go here, or here, or here. Maybe he would have gone, I don't know, here. I would have just grabbed the pawn, and yeah, what else can you do? Maybe he would have doubled up his rooks. I don't know. Oh, actually, he probably wouldn't have doubled up his rooks. He probably would have just captured this pawn then. Oh no, obviously he can because that's defended. So what? It doesn't really have anything to do. Maybe double up his rooks, and then I bring my rook down here. Is to make a decision on which pawn to lose. Actually, I wouldn't even. What's that? Oh yeah, I could have just even grabbed this pawn, or maybe with a check. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm guessing he just, I don't know, turned off his computer or something, and that's why the internet was gone bad. Anyway, these are my games for today. So I lost one, won one, um, which is not too bad considering I was actually filming when playing, as I said in the beginning, and that is quite rough for someone who begins doing this because you need to speak out your way of your thinking, and you also need to do it, and it's just like it adds something to your consciousness. You need to do more things at the same time, and its result is that you're not as sharp, which is maybe the reason why I play with 70% accuracy and 78. I don't know, but I'm glad that at the bottom of the line I didn't lose any rating points. Anyway, yeah, that was my video today. If you like these videos, please consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a like. Leave a comment if you want. And I'll see you probably tomorrow in the next video. Bye bye.